Let's have a look now at Fibonacci projections, or extensions as some people call them, in an upswing. Pretty straightforward. We identify a swing from a high to a low, or in this case a low to a high. And you can see how we've just drawn the retracements. Okay, so we identify the major swing, draw the fibs from the low to the high, and you can see we've labeled this XA. We're going to start labeling our swings, as in the case with some of the patterns which we'll be getting to in the next section. Pricing comes down to one of our levels and then bounces. You can see it bounces at the 50 and then it drops lower to the 62. These are Fibonacci retracement levels. We then have price drive higher, and you can see it comes right up to that 127 projection or extension. So price breaks the 0%. Okay, so remember, from X to A, we have the 100% here and the 0%. Price comes down, retraces, finally finds support at the 62, and then it rallies. It takes out the highs at A, or the 0% level, into the 127 extension. So that's your fib projection. In the next example, we have the same situation where we have a upswing X to A, and you can see the retracements drawn from the X to A point: 38, 50, 62, 70.7, 79, 886, 100%. Price drops. You can see this is your fib retracement, like we went through in the previous section. We get a reaction, and then price continues down. Okay, so this time you see how it breaks the 100%, but it comes down into the 127 extension. So you've got the extensions above and below, one above the 0% and one below the 100%. And that is your Fibonacci projection or extension. Let's have a look now at Fibonacci projections in a downswing. We have a move to the downside labeled X to A. We then draw our Fibonacci tool from the high to the low. And you can see in this case we get a retracement up to the 61.8%. That's your fib retracement. Price then drives lower, and you can see in this case it breaks through the 0% level, so it takes out the lows at point A, comes right down to the fib projection at the 127 extension, and you can see price reacts. On the opposite end, we have the same swing from the high to the low, labeled X to A. Price then retraces to the 62% fib level. We get a reaction down, but in this instance you can see price, instead of breaking the lows at A, it now turns and continues taking out the point at X. So it actually takes out the 100% fib level, and it runs up in this case to the 1618 fib projection. And you can see we get a nice reaction off the level. So just a recap: on the downswing, we draw our fibs from the very high to the very low. Price retraces, and it can retrace to any of the retracements. The minimum is a 38% fib level, but it can retrace all the way up to the 886 or even close to the 100%, and then come all the way back down, breaking the lows at A. And you can see it runs down to the Fibonacci projection, and there are different levels that we are going to concern ourselves with. The two most commonly known numbers are the 127 and the 1618, but I will show you a few others a bit later on in the section. And then the opposite, price drops in the same instance, X to A. It retraces to the 62% fib level. Here again, it can retrace to any number in the fib retracement sequence, It then retraces back down, it doesn't take point A out, and then rallies hard, taking out point X. See, it breaks through the 100%, and this time in this illustration it runs up to the 1618 extension and rejects.